Hey, today I'm going to talk a little bit about Apple and how they've just kind of fallen off the map as far as innovating new products. You know, in the early 2000s, PCs were everywhere. And when I was in college back in like 99 to 2003, I was a graphic design major. So it was an art major, so I did use a Mac. But I was one of the only ones out of all my friends who used a Mac. And a lot of people were still using PCs back then. And then like around 2002, 2003, I started to hear about the iPod. So at the time I was using cheap MP3 players that would only have like 32 megabytes of storage, maybe 64 megabytes of storage. They could only hold a few songs. So I heard about these new iPods and how big they were. And I was a little bit interested in them, but I didn't actually buy one right away. And they started to catch on more and more. And then like around 2004, 2005, I bought my first iPod. This is actually the second one I got. This is a 30 gigabyte iPod. But the first one I got, I believe it was the iPod 3. And I fell in love with this thing. I mean, it was incredible just to have your whole music library fit inside your pocket. I was in love with it. And I was using it all the time for commuting and going to the gym. And it was like the best thing. So Apple hit a home run with the iPod. And then in 2007, they came out with the iPhone, which I'm actually using right now to record this video. Otherwise, I'd show it to you in my hand. So I didn't get an iPhone right away. I was fine with using separate devices. I had an iPod, I had an Android phone. There was like these really cheap Android phones I was buying at the time. I didn't make the jump yet to the iPhone. And I was fine with just using separate devices for everything. I didn't think it was a big deal until I finally got an iPhone. And I think part of the reason why I waited so long was because, you know, people are scared to change. They don't want to have to start doing new things. Even if it makes their lives easier, sometimes people are scared to change. And that was me. I didn't think I needed an iPhone, but once I got one, it changed my life. I mean, it had everything I needed right in the palm of my hands. And now I use it so much that I use it more than computers. And back then, just thinking about a device that could be your phone, your music player, your computer, and pretty much anything you need digitally all in one. And you couldn't believe that would ever exist. You didn't think there'd ever be a need for it, but Steve Jobs made that possible and made that happen. So then a few years later, he brought out the iPad. And this is like one of those things where you don't even think you need an iPad until you see one. And then when he brought it out, like once I saw that, I was like, why would I need an iPad? I have my iPhone. I have, it's all I really need. It's like a bigger iPhone. No, I don't need that. But then I went to the store and I tested it out and I was like, okay, I could see why I could use this now. This is kind of nice. So it was just like a device that I could do everything at home with. I could check my emails on it. I could go on Facebook. I could watch TV shows and movies. And it was great to just have this bigger device that I could just put in my lap and not have to squint and look at my tiny little iPhone screen. So it was just incredible the way that Steve Jobs was able to come out with these devices. He had a way of looking into the future, like 10 years into the future, and predicting what people would be doing, and then coming out with devices now in present day that would reflect what people would be doing in the future. And I don't know if there's a lot of people out there that were ever able to do that like he was. So Steve Jobs really made Apple a successful company, and he made it the company that it is today. But sadly, when he passed away, the innovation in Apple went away too. Where's our new iPhone? Where's our new iPad? Where's our new iPod? They're just not coming out with any new products anymore. They're just rehashing the old iPhone. It's like their baby now. They just try to keep stepping up the game with the iPhone, but they're not thinking about the future the way that Steve Jobs was able to do it. And at first I thought that they were going to keep innovating new products. I know I heard rumors that when Steve Jobs was sick, he was writing notes to the new CEO, Tim Cook, and giving him all this information about what he predicts of the future and what people will be doing. But I mean, I guess that can only last so long. Back in 2011, he really didn't know what was going to happen. So I remember when Apple came out with the iWatch, and at the time, Android had already come out with a whole bunch of different watches, and they've been on the market for like 2 or 3 years. So it seemed like Apple was just trying to catch up with the other companies, whereas in the past, they would invent these products and other companies would follow. And there have been so many great other products that have come out over the past few years, like Amazon Alexa and Google Home, Internet of Things products. There's Chromecast. There's things for your car. And these are all products that Apple has just been sitting on the sideline and watching these new products come out, and their competition is getting stronger and stronger. companies like Google and Amazon, they're really playing catch up to Apple. They're coming out with new products, and Apple is just sitting on the sidelines. I remember hearing in 2017 that Apple promised a new wireless charger was going to be coming out in 2018. It was going to be like a pad that you could put your iPhone on, and you don't have to plug anything in, and it would charge it, and then the next day you just wake up and you pick up your iPhone off the pad and it would be all charged. And they promised it was going to come out last year in 2018. It never came out. And if Steve Jobs was still around, he would have pushed for that device to come out until it came out. And it would have lived up to our expectations, and I'm sure that Apple fans would have loved it. And now Apple is trying to promote their latest iPhones. You know, it's the same iPhone as what we've had in the past, but it's $1,000. I still have an iPhone 6s Plus. It has a headphone jack, which the new iPhones don't have. It's good enough for most of the stuff I need to do on it. It's just almost just as fast as like the newer iPhones, but I already have it and I don't have to spend $1,000 on it. What does the new iPhone X have that's so much different? What, I could use my face to log into my iPhone? Big deal. I'm not going to spend $1,000 for that feature. So Apple just needs to change their style. They're just relying on old products, and they're just keeping the innovation left behind. Look at companies like Circuit City and CompUSA. They tried coming out with websites, but they were too late in the game. And because of that, Amazon just took over the industry. I just don't want to see something like this happen to Apple, because I really like the company and I think that they can keep making innovative products if they just start making them again. Bring out new products, things that we've never seen before. I mean, at the time the iPod came out, no one saw that coming. Same with the iPhone and the iPad. So they got to keep up that legacy that Steve Jobs started. Anyway, let me know what you think of this topic in the comments below. Are you an Apple fan? Are you an Android fan? What are you guys' feelings on the industry? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and have a great day.